Good afternoon, everybody. We have successfully run a batch through the Harvest freeze dryer. There are a few things that I learned, a few things that I did not know, or mistakes I made. I'll just go through those so that you would know going into it. I did not have an owner's manual to read, but I did have some very good tips from another YouTuber. There's a gentleman, the YouTube channel, retired at 40. He does. He has a ton of stuff out there on the Harvest freeze dryer. This is the Harvest Right freeze dryer. So check him out. Retired at 40. So I'll go ahead and step you through my mistakes and things that I would have done differently. My first mistake was the oil fill level. See, the oil is clear. I mean, water clear. So it's hard to see your level. And I overfilled the level and I had to drain it out before I can see that bubble. You can see that bubble in there now. So before I started, that was at the level. Now it's up here. But I overfilled it and then I had to drain it back down, opening up the drain to let some of the oil out. So it's very easy to overfill this unit. It does not take a lot of oil. So that was my first mistake. My next problem I had, it went through the freezing cycle perfect. Nothing was wrong. But when I went through the drying cycle, the vacuum was not holding and the unit stopped and said, I do not have vacuum and I need to check my door seal and check that my vent was closed. So I have it open now because I just finished a cycle and it's draining. But at the time, my vent was closed. I opened my door again. I cleaned the seal, set it back up, but then tried it again and it still came back and say, hey, can't get vacuum. The problem was I tightened right here on the unit hand tight, but I did not realize that down here was not tight. When I got the pump from my buddy, this hose was on the pump, so I just automatically assumed that this was tight. But this was not tight, it was very loose. So once I tightened that down, turned it back on, it pumped down and it worked beautifully. So that was the second item that I ran into. Again, user error. Third item, you need to have a dedicated 20 amp supply. So I have both my freezers plugged into here. So what I did, I got a strip and I plugged the freezer into one and the freeze dryer into the other. And after a while in the drying process, this tripped. I reset it, it kept tripping. It probably took like about 10 minutes for this to trip. And then I said, hey, wait a minute. I know I need to have a dedicated 20 amp breaker. And I know that this is a 20 amp breaker. And I just thought that I could run it with the freezers. So what I had to do, I had to unplug my freezers, unplug the freeze dryer in by itself. So what I will be doing, I'll be making some changes. I have 3 freezers in here, the big upright and these 2. But over to the left of the upright, right down behind these boxes is another plug. So what I'll probably do is scoot these over or run an extension cord to run these 2 and then have this dedicated for the freeze dryer. So that was my next problem. The next issue I had was not with the unit itself, but was more so with the blueberries. So we did the strawberries, sliced them up, had 3 trays of strawberries, and in my excitement, I went ahead and put in that 4th tray with blueberries. So one complete cycle, my strawberries were complete, but the blueberries were not. So we had to run the blueberries through an extended cycle. running through the blueberries through an extended cycle. I did not set the time. I let the system run automatically. After the blueberries were complete, a lot of them are freeze dried, but there are some of them that still hold moisture. So blueberries, grapes, items like that that has the skin is harder for them to freeze dry. So I think I will not be doing the blueberries anymore. Outside of that, everything worked perfectly. I have no issues with the unit itself. Everything that I encountered was user error or just, first time excitement. So that's my quick recap of the entire process. It took right at 25 hours to do the complete run through with the strawberries, and it went into a bit longer time with the blueberries. I did not record the time, and I think that 25 hours was with the issues I had, because twice I had the vacuum seal issue where this piece here was loose, and with that being loose, the pump ran hot, and when I went to restart it, the system says it's cooling off, it'll restart in an hour. It restarted again, and the same thing happened, restart in an hour. That's when I realized that the deal was loose. So that's 2 hours. So technically it probably was 23 hours. So I will get some more stuff. I bought today I probably bought like about 5-6 pounds of bananas. So I love them freeze-dried banana chips. Those are excellent snacks. So I'll be probably buying a box of bananas. I'll be freeze-drying a whole lot of bananas. And then we'll step into the meat. I still have to decide how much meat I'm going to freeze dry cooked versus how much meat I'm going to freeze dry raw. So those are going to be my next items. But like I said, that's a quick recap of the issues I encounter. All of them user error. I hope that helps. So if you get yourself a freeze dry or start operating one, you'll know to watch out for those issues that I did. And I hope you and wish you all the success in your freeze drying ventures.